What's up, guys? How you guys doing? You already know what it is. They call me Young. Welcome to the conversations. And you know the boy has to chill with a couple of legends once in a while. I'll let him introduce himself.
I hate introducing myself, Verbal.
And that's why I like doing it. I have to make things a little bit uncomfortable for you. The conversations need to put you on a hot seat a little bit. You know what I mean?
You know.
So now you have to introduce yourself.
No problem.
Again.
Zubz, the last legendary golden mic holder, ill rhyme writer, MC extraordinaire. We'll leave it there for now.
See, I wasn't going to be able to do all of that.
No, you're going to add more.
just
praise poets.
We give credit where credit is due. Big homie, I felt like you are the right person for me to have you in front of me so I can have this conversation with, right?
Okay.
Being a hip hop extraordinaire, for lack of a better term, we all know what's going on globally.
Yes.
Kendrick Lamar and Drake decided to press the nuke button on the game as a whole. And all of us who are into hip hop were mad excited about it. We were caught up in the diss tracks, the back and forth, you know, the different fan bases were pointing things out that you may have missed while you were listening to the other. So I just wanted to, before we get into it, like what was your reaction at first when you knew that this is about to take off? Like where was your mind state like in terms of everything that was going on with that?
At first, great question. At first of all, thanks for talking to me about this because I generally don't talk at all about anything.
Really?
Nothing to do with nothing, bro. I don't do that kind of.
Give me my flowers, ladies and gentlemen. Already, I'm making history. Already,
I'm happy to be able to speak about this opportunities. I'm taking it very seriously. What I was doing was nothing to do with Drake or Kendrick or hip hop at the time, obviously, because spaces, and it was thrust into that space randomly, and I was just thinking this has to be big. Because in this space, you never get anything to do with hip hop just randomly sneaking in. So I think that was the one thing that I noticed first about the fact that, okay, this might be something. And at the time, it wasn't as deep as it ended up becoming later. It was a hint at a battle that's about to start. So they were like, yo, man, these guys are huge. They're part of the top 3. And the one guy has just come out and said, later for the top 3, I'm top 1. And I was like, yo, who's the guy? Kendrick. I was like, Kendrick? Who's he talking about? Drake and Cole? What? So it really, at the very, very beginning, already had the potential to become culture shifting and very important. So I kind of started paying attention, but not really. Because again, Verbal, you must remember, some of us, we come a long way with battles, bro. This is not new terrain. Battles are nothing new. Let me speak for myself. I've kind of checked out of a rap battle for decades, bro. Because there hasn't been a really beautiful, juicy rap battle in a while.
But this is why...
I say decades, but it's actually not.
This is why everybody was so caught up in it.
And that's why I'm sitting here talking to you. Yeah,
exactly.
Because this one was not just any old battle. This one was an actual rap battle.
Okay, now based on that, didn't that like give you like a nostalgic feel? Because
absolutely.
I mean, think about it, like that type of impact on something as simple as an indication to something that big, and it found its way into your space. So obviously, more people outside of hip hop are listening to what's going on. Obviously, because of the PR behind it. Of course, it's going to be marketed to everybody. Now, based on that, I wanted to ask you, what's your view on it in terms of the battle itself? Did it meet expectations? Considering the fact that you come from a different school of thought where battles for you were something that happened on a regular basis. I mean, at the end of the day, whether people want to admit it or not, hip-hop is a very competitive contact sport. So
it sure is.
There's going to be, people will be at loggerheads and they'll clash a lot. So for you, did it match up to what you expected it to get to, or were you underwhelmed?
It actually surpassed my expectation because, like I said to you, I checked out of that space. I stopped even expecting anything from that space. And because I kind of know where lyricism has gone over the years, and you must remember when I say lyricism, I'm not just talking about your penmanship. I'm talking about what you do with the penmanship, So your bars are nice, but so what, But we don't get to so what because the bars aren't nice. So we don't even get to level 1, But these 3 are typically known for their bars are nice. It's the then what part that you get. Okay, this guy takes the then what to the soul. This guy then takes the then what to the club. This guy that takes the then what to in between, you know. So when this battle started, I wasn't expecting them to take it to the nuances of who they are as rappers and not just leave it at the bars, you know.
Okay.
I thought it would end at bars and it would end at beats. So really the battle is this song a meaty song with layers, or is this song a club song? Are we battling on a club level, or are we battling on a technical level? In the end, it ended up being about forget club, forget technicalities. This is about the difference between the soul and the club. Let me put it to you like that. This is about the difference between aesthetics and the real thing underneath, you know, subterranean, beneath the surface. What are we actually dealing with? And in that way, it surpassed my expectations. I didn't see it would go where it went to. It went much deeper than most of the other battles I'm used to in the past. You talked of nostalgia. The nostalgic battles that I think of, they kept it at lyricism until they took it there. But when they took it there, they only took it one level there. So they started attacking personals, but they weren't attacking the humanity of the people that were actually doing the joints. Which is where this battle went.
Do you feel like the rules have changed with engagement in battles nowadays? Because I mean, the expectations now have gone beyond just your lyricism.
Well, let's be real. The expectations are that battles don't happen.
Okay.
And this is my perspective, of course. Not like this. Battles, when they happen, again, it's just surface level battling. So there isn't a core shift when a battle happens in the culture.
True.
There's just so who won the battle, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas this one, there's a core shift. The Pac Biggie battle, for example, there was a core shift, bro. You know, and I remember there was another battle between like KRS-One and Nelly, for example, which was a ridiculous battle, right? When you think about it, right? But it was a real thing. And in that battle, there actually was a core shift because then it became about, okay, new school versus old school, style versus aesthetic, young versus older, you know, a club versus like, you know, and then it really just kind of shifted the way you see things, and the lens shifted, you know. So this battle did that. And another reason why this battle was super important, I feel, is because I don't know if the younger generation who own this era of hip hop, I don't know if they know this part of hip hop well enough. I feel like it's not something they are well steeped in. Just like, you know, for example, they really understand when you can relate at a very core level to a joint, they get that. When a song hits, it can have 4 words. The whole song can have 4 words, but it just strikes the note, man. When it strikes a note and it hits the core, they can relate to that. That is important. That's part of hip hop culture. But then there's the competitive adversarial part of hip hop.
Yeah.
That part they don't quite understand. And when I say competitive and adversarial, I don't mean like, oh, who's going to be number one when we drop our albums? Is it going to be you or is it going to be B? No, it's like, which one of us here is playing games and which one is about something real and serious? Which one of us here is going to be left standing with support? And which one of us here will be left crushed with no one wanting to touch them with a 10-foot pole? You know, core-shattering, career-ending battles. That's yo.
Okay, no,
that's what this became.
Yeah, true. Now let me use that as a segue, right? So from a local context, okay, so we know that obviously, you know, with the whole hip hop culture as a whole, there's like a mirror, obviously, will always be like, you know, it's something that we imitate from the West, from from the States, to be more specific. So from a local point of view, do you think what is happening there? Because we have a habit of whenever something works in America, we start practicing it locally because we saw the results of what could be if it's done a certain way. So now, considering how big and the global impact this battle has had, from a local point of view, do you think there could be? You spoke of shifts in the game. So do you think the local game has anything to gain or lose based on the fact that we might mirror what's going on in the States?
I think there's 2 questions there. The one question is, do we have what it takes now currently in the culture to be able to create something this big? Even in terms of scale, even if it's just on a regional level, can it be this important? That's the one question. Are there enough players in the game who have the appetite and the support and the mindset to make that happen? So that's the one question. I can't answer that because I'm not tapped in like that. This is not my generation, like I said.
Let me help you. So with that one...
Yeah, you help me just now. Let me just say the second one before I forget it, because I will forget. The second one is, do we care to imitate the West anymore like we used to? I don't think we do.
Okay.
Amapiano has proven that we don't. Tyler has proven that we don't. And Tyler won a Grammy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not talking hip hop here. I'm just talking Africa-based kind of stuff. We don't always need Americans or the West to tell us what to do anymore. This generation especially is proving that. So I think in terms of influence, I don't think it will be as hectic even in the hip hop space. We're not now all of a sudden going to see West African MCs stepping up, the top 3 MCs from Nigeria battling. I don't think we'll see it.
I'd love to see it.
Of course you would, because you love blood on the dance floor. You're that cat.
Once in a while. It's a contact sport, guys. It's competitive at the end of the day.
But it's not going to happen because, again, authenticity over everything. We want it to be real. We don't want it to be put on. We don't want it to be fake. We want it to be real. You know what I'm saying? And we want you guys to be skilled enough to be able to actually spar. And it has to matter. So anyway, those are the 2 things I wanted to point out. But you wanted to say something about the first part.
Yeah, so the reason why I asked is because obviously everybody will always go back to the Casper and the AKA. May his soul rest in peace. Like that would be, I think, on a local scale. When I say local, obviously I'm talking South African context.
Yes.
But African context, I don't think we've ever had like a cross-border back and forth that big before. Unless I stand to be corrected. If you get someone in the comments, please educate me in case I'm wrong. I'm here to learn in case I'm wrong. So obviously outside of the Casper and the AKA one, I don't think we've had anything that big on a national level. So
I can't think of any that stand out.
Now, okay, it builds to my next question. Do you think we can do without it? Is that a dying aspect of the game that was maybe, let's say, is now outdated? Because during the whole Kendrick and the battle, let me just call it the battle instead of like always dropping names. Like the battle, one thing I noticed is that it ended up getting to, this is better than Tupac and Biggie. This is better. So there's always like comparisons with like generations prior. And I feel like that takes away from elements of the game itself. Because I mean, everything starts with the foundation, right? And then you build upon it. So do you feel as if like the battle element, even though it's a big foundation, it's big in the foundation of what we've built in terms of the culture. Do you feel like it's an aspect of the game that is not as necessary now as it once was back in the day? Because I mean, back then we had ciphers, we'd meet at the park, go back and forth, someone beatboxing. We don't see that anymore.
No, we don't.
So is it like a dying art?
I think it's an aspect of the hip hop game and the culture and creation in general that can never be removed from the game. Okay. And that aspect I'm talking about specifically is competition. Okay. Competitive spirit and competition make it so that no matter what level you're at, you always have somebody that is comparatively on the same level as you that you either peg yourself against or aspire to be better than. Right? That'll always happen. That's kind of the nature of progression in a collective space of creation and critiquing. So as that dynamic continues to exist, the potential for that dynamic to go there always exists. Hip hop in general as a culture has always allowed you to express yourself unbridled in the honesty and the truth of who you are and where you are and what you're thinking. Other spaces don't let you do that. Places like soccer, for example, they allow you to explore your competitive energy, but within these rules, right? Hip hop allows you to express your competitive energy also within rules, kind of nyana, but it's much broader. And you guys get to now decide how you guys are going to attack each other in that space, to the point where sometimes it gets completely out of hand and there's no referee to blow the whistle. The audience then has to be like, okay, we're not here for this, and then they bounce because there are no referees. So for as long as that's the case in hip hop, it'll always be there. And I think like the American situation with Kendrick and Drake has shown, for as long as there's no reason to out and out come out and go toe to toe on record and publicly, even in hip hop, it won't be done. But as soon as something happens, as soon as a random dynamic takes place, bro, you can have best of friends who grew up in the same neighborhood
just turn on each other
over a girl. And it's 2027. And when was the last time we battled? Wasn't it like 3 years ago with Kendrick and Drake or something? But that girl that came between these two MCs is the reason for blood on the dance floor. You know what I'm saying?
You killed me every time you say blood on the dance floor.
I know, it's such an old reference, bro.
No, but it's so accurate. It's so accurate. It's so
from
accurate.
a record by, I think it was Michael Jackson. And I think it means something totally different. But just that image, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, we're here to dance, man.
Yeah.
Why is there...
Why is there blood on this dance floor?
You know what I'm saying?
I did not sign up for this.
No, why is there blood on this dance floor? So this is in answer to your question. There are always undercurrents in hip hop, right? Of misogyny, toxicity, anger, pain, violence, competitiveness, right? There are also undercurrents of optimism, beauty, overcoming, triumph, victory. All of these dynamics are always at play simultaneously beneath the surface. It doesn't matter how hand clappy and frilly and, you know, crispy clean it seems on the outside. Underneath, there's always an undercurrent. That's part of hip hop culture. When a reason for that comes, it'll happen.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the whole basis and the whole script behind the conversations. We want to tap into what goes beyond just what you see, what you're fed, but we're all about independent thought. Zubz, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, bro. Thank you for having
Always awesome
me.
having conversations with you. The next time I think we're going to come here, we're going to have a score sheet. And then I want to know who won, who did better, who did that.
And I have some thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, for the next one. Guys, subscribe, press that button, let us know what you think.
Peace. For the record, I think Kendrick won that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Have you already you recorded that? Keep it, because it's on the record.